Driver, we have Lucky at the swing. PTZ driver, Lucky at the swing. And I know you people here up on the deck of the North American Bear Center are saying, who's the PTZ driver and what am I saying? Well, it's a volunteer somewhere in the world, possibly Ireland, possibly the Netherlands, maybe our volunteer from Illinois. I'm really not sure who's on right now, but they actually drive a camera that's actually located up above the deck. And they can pan, tilt, and zoom the camera to the action. I'm going to go off line for one moment and move locations as Lucky comes over the rock bridge. Lucky is coming over the rock bridge. I'm going off mic for a minute and move locations. This is Judy. I'm back on mic. We right at the moment have Lucky Bear at the scale. I think he thinks it's weigh-in Tuesday. It's not. It's Thursday, but that's okay. He's going to try to give us a weight. And I'm on the deck for a reason. I'm actually looking for Holly Bear. She is our 18-month-old little yearling. She was out at 11 o'clock today, and she was out at 1. At the moment, I'm on the far side of the deck, meaning for the PTZ driver, I'm located near the clover patch on the deck. And I do not see at the moment Holly. I don't see her in the white cedar, or the white pine. And I'm looking for movement in her deadfall, and I don't see her. That doesn't mean she's not there, I just don't see her. I'm going back and checking out Lucky here. He's like disinterested. He's like, whatever. Oh, he's thinking about it, turning around. He's thinking about what one of our bear educators may have for him. Oh, he's going to try to get on the scale again. Figures, well, that works once in a while. When I get on the scale, they give me a treat. Not today, Lucky. It's like, okay, I'll get off the scale. Yes, one of the kids on the deck said they've got some red grapes out there, and he's absolutely correct. There's red grapes, and they do prefer red grapes over green grapes. All 4 of our bears do. There's also peanuts in the shell and not in the shell or out of the shell. And in that cube that was out there, we had a kind of a mix of trail mix. And I think one of our bear educators has a tube, but she's waiting for Honey Bear to show up. And Honey is very distinctive. She's the only bear here that is not black. So you might think, well, then why do we have her here? She's obviously not a black bear because she's not black. Well, that's not the case. Honey is a cinnamon phase black bear. Or she's the color of honey. If you don't know the color of cinnamon, she's the color of honey that you would get in a jar at the grocery store. Some children asked me the other day, well, will Honey ever be black in color? Will she ever change color? No. She's always going to be a cinnamon phase black bear. And in our exhibit hall, we have a kiosk that actually tells you about the different colors that a black bear can be. Most of the black bears in Minnesota, about 95% is estimated, are black in color, and only about, estimate, again, 5% is the color of Honey, who is cinnamon. Well, Lucky's now kind of sitting halfway, standing in his water dish. He's been known to take the water dish and put it over his head. He's got kind of a mischievous look on his face. That's my interpretation. His nose is going. I'm not too sure what's on his mind. He's also one of the 4 bears that I always say does a drive-by. And by that I mean he cruises through and takes off again. He does not appear to be overly interested in food at the moment. And he just looked back up at the deck. I'm getting a little back noise from my microphone, and he does not like that. Especially when he's out, if I get a little backwash on my mic, whether it's me or someone else, he will look up at the deck. If Holly Bear were to appear, and I don't see her at all, if she were to appear, she may come straight out from the other side of the pond from the tree line, and she more than likely will not come more than 10 feet out from the tree line. She does not have one of her, what we call surrogate mothers, with her right now. There is no staff member out in the 2.5 acres right now. We want to see if she will navigate out in the open on her own without help. It's another stage of her development. We can't always guarantee, nor do we want to guarantee, her having help all the time. She needs to gain enough confidence to come out here by herself. And about an hour and a half ago, for the PTZ driver, on the horizontal log in the pond, we have a mother mallard hen with 3 ducklings that appeared today. She was seen crossing the highway 169 by our driveway at 1:30. She made it with her 3 little ones still intact. She made it here at the Bear Center 2 hours later in the pond. So we now have another mother mallard again with a few little ducks. And I've already been asked the question today, well, will the ducks survive the bears? Yep, they sure will. Lucky, our 7-year-old male, the one that's out right now, finds them interesting. But when he has swam behind the little ones, the little ducklings in the past, the mother has gone around and tried to distract Lucky so he doesn't bother the little ones. So I suspect we're going to have a mother with 3 little ducklings for the rest of the summer. It is not the first summer we've had that. We had a mother with, if I'm not mistaken, 5 or 6 just a year or 2 ago. And I have to say most of the ducks made it, but we don't think it was because of the bears. We never saw anything, and every time that the bears was in the pond, the mother was really quite protective of the little ones. Honey has not made an appearance, and I'm going to just go off mic a little bit and see if they know where our honey bear is, and then I'll talk a little bit about Honey and where she is in her stage of estrus. Well, this is Judy back on mic again. Interestingly enough, I said I'd give you an update on Honey and the stage of estrus she is in. Well, it's mating season right now. Typically the last week or 2 of the month of May, and all of June is mating season time. And I thought it was a little unusual when I was talking that Honey has not made an appearance. And so I asked our volunteers and staff members when I went off mic, where's Honey? Well, she has parked herself right next to Ted over that way, near where he is, and she's not moving. And why is that? Well, she happens to like Ted this year. We're family friendly here, so I'll just leave it at that. She's found a liking to Ted, and Ted likes her. Nothing's happened, but they sure do like each other. It is doubtful whether she will come down if she has parked herself near Ted. There's some things you just can't compete with. But I will say that I'll talk a little bit about Honey. Honey is an 18-year-old female. She has never had cubs. She was born in captivity, as was Ted. Ted was also born in captivity, although he's not out right now. He's 17. And she is taking quite a liking to Ted this year. I had thought here the other day she was waning in the later stages of estrus. I guess I will not say that now, since she went to find Ted. Ted didn't go find her. She went to find him, which tells me she still is in estrus. Good question I had here on the deck. Someone wants to know what we're going to do about that. If I'll say it differently, if we will allow her in his pen. There's a kind of a long answer to that, and I'm going to answer it. Both her, Honey, and Ted were raised by a private party for their first 9 or 10 years. And that private party, always during those 4 to 6 weeks, kept them separate, Ted and Honey, so they were not able to mate. When they were given to the North American Bear Center, and now we've had them since 2007, there has not been a fence between Honey and Ted during the mating season. So both of them are intact, so yes, she could have cubs. But for 7 years, she has rejected the 2 male bears we have here, one Ted and the second one Lucky. She's rejected them. And what's important about that is, and why they're still intact, specifically Honey and Ted, is that in the wild it is a matriarchal society, and even if a male would like to mate with a particular female, she has the last say. So for 7 years, even though she's kind of sweet on Ted right now, in the end she rejects him. So it is not very likely that they will have cubs. Is it biologically possible? Yes. In the wild, yes, females can have cubs into their 20s, into their late 20s. But it's biologically possible, but we don't think it's very likely. PTZ driver, focus on the opposite the pond at the tree line. Holly bear is out. PTZ driver, focus directly. She's standing on her hind legs directly across from the pond. I'm going to go off mic for just a second because I know she does not care for my loud voice. One more time for PTZ driver, directly opposite the North American Bear Center at the tree line. I'm back on mic. I have no idea how long Holly will stay. It always helps when everybody is quiet. But she isn't always crazy about the voice over the loudspeaker. For those of you that were able to see her on her hind legs, her focus was down here in the viewing area. She wanted to know if there were bears down here. And I believe she saw at least one. I think she saw Lucky. And in the wild, the life of a yearling can be challenging. She has been treed on a number of occasions by Honey Bear, her 18-year-old female. Again, females run the show, and Honey needs to make sure Holly knows her place. Lucky Bear, who is out right now, I'm not sure if he is aware that she is out, but if Lucky were to approach her, he'd be friendly. He'd probably just want to play, but Holly doesn't know that. And if Lucky were to approach her, I suspect Holly would go up the nearest tree. Here comes Holly again. PTZ driver. She looked, she saw Lucky. She looked right at Lucky, laying down by one of the logs, eating in-shell peanuts. Holly yesterday had her first half of an avocado. We thought we'd find out if she likes them, and she does. She ate the avocado and left the outside. Two of her favorite foods are red grapes and peanuts still in the shell but unsalted. Yeah, we tried the salted. She rejects them. Each of the bears tend to have some of their favorite foods. A raw egg is a favorite for Ted, Lucky, and Honey. Here she comes. I want to take this opportunity to thank all our worldwide folks for tuning in today for the adventures of Holly. We did have a breakthrough today at 1 o'clock for those of you that were not viewing. We know Ted and Holly were nose to nose for about 2 seconds at about 1:15 this afternoon. Yep, nose to nose for about 2 seconds at about 1:15 this afternoon. That is the closest she has ever gotten to any of the three bears. We have been working with her and Ted specifically, Ted being number one, the largest, but the most gentle of the three, for her to learn that these bears, these big bears, aren't going to hurt her. It was a breakthrough for Holly. We'll see what happens tomorrow at 11 and at 1. We will be working again at 11 and 1 with Holly specifically, and more than likely with Ted. For those of you that are not familiar with our PTZ camera, you can get on www.bear.org. On our home page, click Camera Videos, and then click the PTZ camera. The PTZ is solely operated by worldwide volunteers of this organization and who have an interest in sharing accurate information about black bears, as well as following the lives of Ted Lucky Honey, and now the education of Holly and the integration of Holly as a North American Bear Center Ambassador Bear. I want to thank all the people that are here at the North American Bear Center today. This will be our last bear enrichment for the day today, but we are still open until 7 o'clock. Holly may come out again at her own choosing, and I suspect that's quite possible if I get off the mic. Or she may go to the half-dead white pine to my left. Again, I want to thank you all as I watch a mother duck and a couple little ones right here at the edge of the pond digging into the white clover. Thank you all for coming to the North American Bear Center today. We know you have other options in the Ely area for your entertainment and educational opportunities. We're happy you chose to visit us today, and we appreciate you coming to see us. And thank you also from Ted, Lucky, Honey, and Holly.